Hello YouTubers, this is Garwin again with another video. In today's video we're going to be talking about the Workman SWR-2T standing wave meter for your CB radios. I'm going to show you guys how to hook it up, how to use it, and offer some of my thoughts on the product. I bought this for about $10 or $15 at the local Radio Shack. It is an inline meter, so you will have to have a short piece of coax to go from your radio to the meter, and then your antenna will go to the meter itself. So you've got your short jumper here. You can look on the back of the meter. You can see that there's two plugs. One says ANT for antenna. The other one says TRANS for transmit. That's your radio plug over there. So you run the jumper from TRANS to the radio and hook your antenna up on the ANT side. Alright. Now you can see on the front here that we're going to be starting in the FWD position. Let's see if you guys can see that. We're going to be starting with the switch on the front in the FWD position. The dial on the face of it is going to be dialed all the way to the left. Now before I actually do it, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, and I'll tell you why. I'm going to hold a dead key, and then we're going to turn this dial to move this needle all the way over just until it touches the set mark on the far end of the meter. You don't want to speak while you're doing this, because speaking or modulation will actually increase the amount of wattage going through the coax and will actually make this needle bounce. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started here. Alright, now once you've made it over to the far end, you can see it's wiggling there now that I'm speaking. Once you've made it over to that far set position, you just hold the dead key and flip this down to the REF position, and it will give you your standing wave. So we can see here, let's let off and switch hands for the camera here. So you can see, now that we've calibrated it, we don't have to recalibrate it, we can just do another dead key. Our standing wave is about a 1.3 on channel 40. So that's pretty good. That's below 1.5, so that's good. If you go above 2 on your standing wave, you want to start looking around and see maybe there's something going on with your coax. Maybe there's some sharp bends in it, or you've got it wound in a loop that's real tight, or maybe your antenna is in a bad location where it's got too big of a ground plane or not enough of a ground plane. There's something that you could do better to improve the performance of your antenna. If you go above a 3, you've probably got a short. There's a cut in your coax, or it's not tight enough in the back of the meter or your radio. Something's going on, and you better figure it out, because if you continue to key down with a standing wave of 3+ and there's a short, you'll burn the finals out of your radio. Now, like I said, it's not going to be 100% accurate like those high-dollar electronic ones that just plug straight into the coax themselves. Because you are going to be using a jumper, which increases the length of the coax, and just by the nature of it's just a cheap little nifty kind of tool to kind of give you a rough idea. It does seem to be relatively accurate, because 1.3 is about what I expected on this antenna. So it'll get you in the neighborhood. It'll let you know if there's any bad shorts or any major damage to your antenna. You can leave it in line with the radio. The radio will function just fine with this left in line. So if you have a base station in your house and you want to just hook this up through the to the radio and just leave it there, you can certainly do that. And you won't have to calibrate this every single time you use it, as long as you don't unhook it and there aren't any real major changes that you're aware of to your setup. But if you key up one day and this needle jumps over into the red, you know something has happened to your antenna since the last time you used your radio. So leaving it hooked up is definitely an option. I pretty much just keep it here on my workbench, and when friends come over and want me to install radios in their cars or help them with their antenna setups, I'll take this out there and give myself a general idea of what the standing wave is to help me make sure there's no shorts and that there's no major issues with their antenna. But like I said, if you want to be 100% certain on exactly what your standing wave is, you're going to need to go out and you're going to need to get one of those electronic meters that plug directly into the antenna coax themselves, because that will avoid the issue of having the jumper coax added to your antenna length. Yeah, this is the Workman SWR-2T meter. In my opinion, it's a good bargain for the price. It does what it's supposed to, and I've been pretty happy with it so far. So if you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, or suggestions, feel free to post them below, and I will address them as necessary. This is Garrowin out. Y'all have a good. Quick caveat about the Workman SWR-2T standing wave meter. It does not measure output power. It only measures standing wave. So if you're looking for something to monitor your output power, you're going to have to go with a bigger, better meter. I believe Workman makes meters that do both, but this is kind of their cheap, simple, basic option just for testing your antenna condition. If you are running a linear amplifier and you want to check your standing wave, take the linear out of the equation and test only using your radio and your antenna, and I'll tell you why. Well, number one, if you put it between the linear and your antenna, you'll blow up this meter. If you put it between the radio and the linear, you're not going to get an accurate reading, even though it might not hurt the meter. You're just not going to get an accurate reading because you have that linear between the meter and the antenna that's doing all sorts of other stuff. So don't use it with linear amplifiers, and it doesn't measure output power itself. Just wanted to kind of point that out to you guys. Thanks.